Hello everyone, it's Elliot here, and today I have something truly special indeed, and I know I say that all of the time, but this is really special. It is Drive on 4K UHD. This is from Second Sight, and this is a real hefty package. This is the limited edition. You get a heck of a lot of stuff inside this box. So I'm going to run down everything you get and whether the actual 4K disc is worthy or not. So stick around for all of that. So Drive is quite a special film for me because I remember seeing it quite early on my film journey. A lot of people at the time were saying it was one of the coolest films they'd ever seen, and I couldn't help but agree once I actually watched it. And I think it's actually one of my most rewatched movies over the last decade. So it is one that I'm particularly fond of, and seeing it get the treatment that it's getting here, really got me excited. I'm sure most people watching this have already seen Drive, but if you haven't, a quick rundown of the story is it focuses on this guy who is very good at driving. He's a part-time mechanic, he's also a stunt driver, and he gets involved with some criminals to be their driver when they're doing their heists and things like that. And he ends up meeting this girl and falling for her, and there's this real struggle between him wanting a normal life and being involved in this criminal underworld. At the centre of it, you have Ryan Gosling giving quite a stoic performance, and many people find his character quite relatable, and I think that has aided the film in being so memorable and sticking in the cultural zeitgeist for the last 10 years. The film is also known for its visual aesthetic. It has a very neon feel to it. And then the music choices in the film are also very memorable. So if I haven't sold you on the film already, it's worth checking out for those aspects alone. With all of that said, let's have a look at this release, see what you get inside it. And if you do want to purchase this, I'll include some links in the description below which help the channel. So check those out if you like what you see here. So first of all, it comes in this hardbound case, and there is this piece of card on it which you can remove. This card just has all of the information on the back, so it tells you exactly what you get in the release. But here is the box without it. So on the front, you've got obviously the scorpion image, which is on the back of the jacket. There's nothing on the top. On the spine, it just says Drive. Again, there's the scorpion and just the Second Sight logo and Nicholas Winding Refn logo. Then on the back, you have this writing from Nicholas Winding Refn himself, talking about what Drive is to him and why he made it. So all in all, the packaging is some of the best packaging I've ever seen on a release. It's very much like the Dawn of the Dead release from Second Sight, which I did review on the channel a few years ago. So if you've got that release, you know how good the packaging is on that. And this is definitely similar. It's quite a thick one as well, so it is gonna take up some space on your shelf, but it will look very nice doing so. So if we crack it open, inside here, this just slips out like so, and you'll see that we have quite a lot of stuff in here. So let's just take all of this out and we'll go through it one by one, and I'll just put the case down here. First of all, and most importantly, is this. This has the discs themselves. So it has the 4K Ultra HD disc here, and then this is just the standard Region B Blu-ray. Although this is a UK release, I know a lot of people are going to be importing this from America and elsewhere in the world. So just note that while you will be able to play the 4K disc, the Blu-ray disc will be Region B locked. Although, thankfully, all of the same content is across both discs. So you're not actually going to be missing out on anything if you can't play the standard Blu-ray. So that is that. Next, we have a book, and this, which is a very nice book, this is the novel that the film is based on. This is the novel by James Sallis, and inside, as you can see, it's a novel that, you read the words on the page, and you get the story from it. Now, I haven't had a chance to read the book just yet, but it's definitely something I'm going to be doing because of how much I enjoy the film. And on the special features on the disc, which I'll talk about in a bit, Refn actually talks about the novel and how the film differs from the novel, and the novel is still something that is very important to him, and he recommends everyone go and read the novel anyway. So he's not just saying that his film is better than the book or like a better version of the story. He's actually saying that the book is equally important and worth checking out, basically. The next thing that you get in the package, and this is the heftiest thing in here, this is another book, this time a hardbound one, and you get a lot of stuff in here. This is quite a thick book indeed. And what's in here is a load of essays, interviews, and also, interestingly, some of the storyboarding from the film. So there's a lot to get through here. I've made my way through most of this, and there's still a bit more to go through. But this is, a real treat, and definitely something that if you are a big fan of the film, you're going to enjoy. The last physical component of this release is some art cards, and these have all of the central players in the story on there. I'm not particularly an art card person. I don't know what they're for. I guess people like to display them on their wall and stuff like that. It's not really for me, although if I was, I would display this one of Albert Brooks, because I love Albert Brooks. So that is everything you get inside the package, and it just slots back into here, and then this can just slot back into here. So that is the packaging. I truly think this is a very nice piece indeed. Quite a minimal design on the actual box set itself, so I'd happily have this on display on a shelf somewhere, and people that come to my house could go, what the hell's this? And I'll try and describe the movie to them like I've done here, and they'd probably hate it. But nevertheless, I think it looks very nice. Anyway, onto the 4K presentation. So this is a 4K UHD disc, and you do have the full 4K resolution here. It is worth noting that the film was actually shot on cameras that only output in 2K. So this isn't one of those, so-called native 4K presentations. There is certainly an uptick in the clarity of picture in terms of resolution, but you're not going to see a massive difference like you might with a much older film where it was shot analog on film and then has been presented on a 4K disc. Those kind of situations are where you can see a massive uptick in detail. That is not the case here. While that might sound not all that enticing, there is more to the story here because, of course, on 4K discs, we have the addition of HDR, high dynamic range grades. With the HDR grade, you do get a wider range of colours in the picture, which is important for all of those neon infused pieces of imagery in the film. They look absolutely amazing on this disc, better than I've seen them in this film before. And then in terms of the contrast between the highlights and the shadows, this is really used to great effect here, and it's certainly the best this film has ever looked, and probably will ever look now, because if we're looking to the future and looking to 8K technology, I can't see how that would really improve what we've got here, especially given that the film was only finished in 2K. There are some really good examples of the increase in shadow detail and levels of brightness. Particularly towards the end of the film, there is this bit that's on a beach, and there's a lighthouse that's shining light all over the beach. That looks amazing. I don't remember it looking that good before. So there are some real examples of where the brightness really does look crisp, and yeah, I think it just looks great. Oh, and I forgot to mention the actual HDR grade. It is Dolby Vision, so it isn't just standard HDR10. Onto the audio, there is a Dolby Atmos track, and I mentioned a bit before about how important the audio and the soundtrack is to this film, and it sounds amazing, especially in the driving sequences, of course, where the car is very loud. There's a particular one which is like a driving sequence in the mountains, a chase scene. You know the one if you've seen the film. That sounded amazing, and all of the music sounds great as well. So overall, not only is this the best the film has ever looked, it's also the best it's ever sounded, to me anyway. So while I was recording the rest of the review earlier, I stupidly forgot to talk about the special features on the discs, which is obviously a big part of this release. So most notably in the special features on this disc, there is a new audio commentary with Nicholas Winding Refn and Peter Bradshaw, who is a film critic and a film writer. And they talk about the legacy of Drive, 10 years on, and they talk about a bit about some of Refn's other works and where Drive sort of sits in his filmography. So it's a very interesting commentary, and that is a real selling point for this Blu-ray, because this, wasn't on previous editions. So it's a very nice thing to have. Along with that, there is another conversation between Nicholas Winding Refn, editor Matt Newman, and composer Cliff Martinez. And they're just talking about their collaborations working on Drive. And then another feature, there is Cutting a Getaway. This is a new interview with editor Matt Newman, talking about the whole editing process and how he, pieced together the footage of Drive. And then lastly, there is a video essay by Lee Singer called 3 Point Turns. And together, all of these special features make this a fantastic release. There's a lot of new stuff here. Even if you're a super fan of Drive, there is new stuff here to sink your teeth into. So all in all, it makes it a great package. So that is Nicholas Winding Refn's Drive on 4K from Second Sight. I would definitely recommend picking this up. So if you want to buy it, please check out the purchasing links down below. And if you want to check out more videos on 4K, please click the one on screen right now, because I'm giving more recommendations of some of my favorite 4K discs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.